with the AI, what has happened is now the data analytics has become traditional data analytics, and now there is AI driven data analytics. So, what is the difference? Which are the industries which are leading the AI driven analytics or leading in that field of AI driven analytics?
Is helping the data analysts to automate the boring part of their day-to-day job and focus on more on the domain and business side of it, which is more empowering in my opinion.
Let's quickly, if you can think about a data analytics lifecycle and say at different stages where all AI can help or has been helping as of now.
It is never about one or two tools. It is about which tools fit your entire data lake and your data state in your organization.
So now the question arises, as a data analyst or somebody who's working in the data field, how do you look at this AI versus me, and how should we keep a balance as to how should be our approach to grow in our career going ahead?
I won't say limitations of the tool or limitations of AI. It's all about the data you have used to train your tool.
Good morning, good evening. Welcome to a brand new episode of FutureForward, a podcast series by Techcanvass on artificial intelligence, business analysis, and product management. Let's talk about today's episode. So, artificial intelligence is impacting every industry and every profession, right from financial services industry to the other extreme end of the spectrum, that is agriculture sector as well. Similarly, it is also affecting every field of work, right from sales, marketing, business analysis, product management, and even data analytics. In today's episode, we are going to talk about how AI is impacting data analytics and how data analytics professionals can leverage AI tools and techniques to become smarter and more productive. To talk about that, we have Farhan Khan in the studios. So, Farhan has over 10 years of experience in data analytics. He is currently a management consulting principal at Accenture Strategy and Consulting. He has expertise in revenue assurance, fraud management, BI, and analytics with strong consulting experience. He has deep knowledge of the telecom domain, including 2G, 3G, and 4G networks, and telecom OSS and BSS. Welcome to the episode, Farhan.
Thank you, Abhishek. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, great. So I just talked about you a little bit. If you can tell more about how did you start your career and what happened so far in your career?
So not many people know, only my close friends and childhood friends and family knows that I started my career as a call center agent back in 2007 when Gurgaon was booming, or it was a city of call centers at that time. But after gaining some experience, I decided to go for MBA. And after MBA, I got a job in consulting. So I've been working on the business side as a consultant, and I closely work with global telecommunication clients. So that's how my career journey started, and it's been over 13 years now, and I've been into consulting only, and still working on different projects and solving different problems of global telecommunication companies.
Right. So how did your journey start into analytics field?
That is a mix of opportunities that I got in my career, and also the curiosity that I had to understand and solve problems of the clients. Whatever is the talk, whether it's about telecom network operations, business optimization, revenue enhancement, or cost optimization, everything came down to one thing: data. I started my career specifically into fraud management in telecommunications. So, when you are trying to investigate any fraud, it's the data that you have to explore. Later on, I got a chance to work on some data analytics related projects where the clients were trying to optimize their network operations with the help of data. So I always try to look into the data, what's hidden, if something is happening, why it is happening, what is causing that. That is the type of questions I always try to answer, and that brought me close to data analytics. And since then, it's been over 10 years now that I have been working in data, and now AI-driven data analytics.
Correct. So now, since you mentioned AI-driven analytics, so with the AI, what has happened is now the data analytics has become traditional data analytics, and now there is AI-driven data analytics. So what is the difference, and how does it matter?
So traditional data analytics is like an analyst writing SQL queries, right? Creating dashboards and preparing manual reports and sending it over email to the senior management. That's how a traditional traditional data analytics looks like, and it is mostly rule based, right? AI is automating everything. It is not only telling you what has happened in the past, it is also uh, providing you insights of what can happen, what might happen, right? What are the reasons that could lead to something. It can help you uncover some of the insights that you weren't even looking for, right? So that's the difference between a traditional AI and traditional data analytics and AI-based data analytics.
So you mentioned briefly mentioned about predictive analytics, basically. So it is not something which is new, right? Predictive analytics has been there for a long time, but with AI, it looks like a lot of things have changed. So what makes AI actually so special?
See, AI has been there for quite some times. It's what Let me talk about a few things that have happened recently. It's about cloud, right? Cloud has provided the infrastructure to do analysis on millions of rows, right, of data or even unstructured data. With digitization, the social media, mobile phone devices, online transactions, the data has exploded. So we as a consumer consume GBs of data every day, right? So we have platform or infrastructure to perform analysis. We have now the data which wasn't there maybe a decade or a couple of decades ago. Now we have the data. And also the third, apart from cloud and data availability, the third important reason for that is the algorithmic breakthroughs that we have achieved in recent past with deep learning, with neural networks. We have been able to develop these large language models, which in recent times have changed the game completely. So I believe that availability of huge amount of data, ability to perform analysis based on cloud in cloud infrastructure, and third, the availability of deep learning models and even large language models to automate these tasks has changed the game for analytics.
Yeah, so the deep learning and the LLM which you're referring to also means chat GPTs and Gemini, right?
Correct.
The ability to talk in natural language.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So which are the industries which are leading the AI-driven analytics or leading in that field of AI-driven analytics?
Okay. So, banking and insurance have been traditionally using it to detect fraud, process insurance claims. Then we have healthcare now with Gen AI. The healthcare industry is now being able to use the data for drug discovery and for patient diagnostics, right? And even in telecommunication, uh, automating network operations and even fault detection, fault prediction in telecommunication. So retail has been utilizing AI in data analytics to segment their customer base, and to also they are able to utilize the camera footage to understand and analyze the footfall in their retail stores. So yeah, banking, insurance, telecommunication, retail has been using data analytics mm, for uncovering some insights for which we definitely it helps in taking some big decisions for the business.
Yeah. So actually, just a couple of weeks back, I had somebody in the studios talking about AI in healthcare. He was a doctor, So he talked about several use cases, right from patient diagnosis to detection of diseases. There's several things which AI has been helping with. Now coming back to the more banking and financial sector, can you walk us through any example where you have seen how AI-driven analytics is being used?
Right. So AI-driven analytics in banking is mostly around taking financial decisions related to customer. For example, approval of loans, right? Based on the credit history of the applicant. So that is the most widely applied use case in banking sector. Then also the 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 capability to analyze the spend is now available to the customer. So it's not only helping the service providers, the customers are also now having those applications where they can perform analytics, they can manage their spend and effectively plan their monthly spend on what they are spending, right? So these kind of use cases are available in banking industry. I can also think of uh, claims related frauds, or how the insurance companies are using AI in data analytics to go through the history of the person who is holding the insurance, the policy holder. So whether to provide these insurance services to a person or not, these kind of decisions are now based on AI. So it's not that AI is taking the decision. It's about AI assisting the person who is in charge of approving a loan or approving a claim, assisting that person in taking that decision. So 80% of the work, you can say, is now being done by AI, but you cannot take high stake decisions, or you cannot depend upon AI for high stake decisions, right? So you need to have the human intervention. So 20% of the task is still done by human, where they have to validate the recommendations that the AI system is making. And if there is something that they don't agree with, they can always override the recommendations of the AI system. So it is not that AI is used 100% in decision making, but yes, it is giving you the indication of what is possible. Now you as human have the right to whether to you want to approve the loan, whether you want to approve the claim or reject it. So that's how it is being used in financial sector at the moment.
Yeah. And there is one term which I came across, augmented analytics. So what is it, if you can explain in simple terms and give an example if possible?
So augmented analytics is basically giving a superpower to a data analyst, right, to perform the day-to-day analytics job. Whatever you can automate, you should, right? And the role of data analyst becomes more critical, because now they are not only helping you generate insights. The data analysts are getting empowered by the AI tools to generate the insights quickly, and then they are also applying the business mind, right? So data analyst is not only providing you the charts or reports. So what the augmented AI or augmented data analytics suggests is it allows the data analyst to automate the tasks where they can save time and focus more on the strategic part. So data analysts can now be a part of the meetings where the strategies are being discussed. They can not only talk about what they have uncovered from the data, they can now even talk about what the reasons are behind what is going on. They can even talk about what needs to be done to improve or optimize something. So it's the augmented analytics is helping the data analysts to uh, automate the boring part of their day-to-day job and focus on more on the domain and business side of it, which is more empowering in my opinion, rather than taking it as something negative, which many people think that it is going to replace the job of data analyst. But in my opinion, no. You can never replace a data analyst. You can only replace the most boring tasks performed by data analyst, but the business sense will always come from a human being. So from that perspective, I think it's a superpower that a data analyst is now getting.
Yeah, that's very important point. So since you mentioned data analyst and some sections of what they do, so let's quickly, if you can think about a data analytics lifecycle and say at different stages where all AI can help or has been helping as of now.
AI is relevant throughout the data analytics lifecycle. So, even if you talk about preparing the data, which is around 60 to 70% of the work that a data analyst does, if now AI can identify anomalies in the data, AI can find missing values, AI can detect outliers, and AI can even find out the duplicate data set, right? So and these are some of the data preparation tasks that we can outsource to AI. So AI has the capability to perform these data preparation tasks. Even once the data is prepared, running the analysis, generating the insights, and not only generating insights, doing qualitative analysis of that insights is now being done by AI. So if there is a summary table that is available in a dashboard, you still have to look at it to understand it, what it is saying, what message is there, what business sense this table is making. AI can do that for you now. So you are not only preparing the data, you are not only preparing the report, you are all with the help of AI. You can now even uh, provide or generate qualitative insights about what the data is saying. And then finally, end-to-end report generation can also be done by AI. For example, there can be weekly or daily reports that the data analysts have to share with the relevant stakeholders. Now there are AI agents which are responsible for automating the whole process of report preparation. So maybe at the time of the day, maybe after 11 p.m., there can be a trigger which activates the agent, and agent fetches the latest data, performs all the analysis, prepares the reports, and sends it out in form of an email. Or even when you come next day in the morning, the analysis for the previous day is already there for you, right? So you don't even have to worry about the the whole analytics life cycle. So data analytics is now being transformed by AI, and it is very much relevant from data preparation, data analytics, data validation, and even reporting.
Right. So let's get into different stages and try and understand which are the tools and techniques which can be used at different stages. So let's first talk about data preparation part. So what kind of a tools are being used currently for doing this task?
So currently, there are tools. For example, uh, Power BI has Copilot integrated now. So it is Copilot has the capability now to identify any anomalies in the data, any missing values. So it can clean and prepare the data automatically. It can suggest what changes need to be made, right? For example, if there is the same customer ID, but at one row you have the customer name with capital letters, and at the second row you have customer name with the small letter. So that's an anomaly.
Yeah.
So that can easily be identified by a co-pilot agent, and it can recommend that you should change the name and correct it in both the rows. So this kind of analysis and data preparation, preparatory skills are available with Copilot in Power BI. Then we have Tableau with Einstein AI, where These AI capabilities in Tableau also allow the user to prepare the data for further analysis, and before the data is imported into a dashboard to create reports and charts. Then there are uh, mm, capabilities within the same tool. Even in Excel, Excel now has a capability to generate automated charts for you. So with the help of Copilot, you can readily generate insights without even looking at the data. So, data preparation, data analytics, and then performing qualitative analysis. You can also utilize AI. So the base is Python, right? So whatever tool you are using, the interface can be different, right? But the base is always Python. Whether you use Copilot in Excel, whether you use Copilot in Power BI, or whether you use it in Tableau, the base will always remain Python, and it currently it is. So it is able to currently, even if you don't use any AI tool and you try to clean the data yourself, what do? You mostly do it in Python, right? You use some libraries in Python to clean and prepare your data. Feature selection, which features are important in the data for you, which are not. You can reduce the data size into half by eliminating the features which are not providing any value. So these kind of analysis, feature selection, feature importance, these are very much possible in these tools. Then there are enterprise grade tools like Azure ML, right, where you can automate end-to-end life cycle of data analytics. So it is never about one or two tools. It is about which tools fit your entire data lake and the your data state in your organization. So it is always a combination of different tools. You talk about any corporate or any enterprise, they won't have a single tool doing everything. So you have to identify which tool to be used at which stage, and it's always about integration of different tools, whether it's about the ETL process to bring the data from source to the data warehouse and to a table where you connect it to any tool which cleans it, improves it, prepares it for analysis. Then you have capabilities to automate and the insight generation. So that capability can come from any visualization tool, as I said, from Tableau to Power BI. And then providing analytics and qualitative analysis of the output. That is also now being integrated to these tools. But with Gen AI, you can even create an AI agent that generates the insights from the data, and even after generating insights, it gives you recommendations, right? You can also try to look for these insights, and then you can interact like a chatbot, and it will provide you more insights and create more charts for you like a chatbot. So you need to, as a data analyst, you just don't need to limit yourself to a one particular tool. You need to understand what different tools at which stage are required, and you need to learn all the tools which are popular in the market, which are popular with the enterprises. For example, Salesforce. Salesforce is a widely used CRM tool in enterprises, but it is only performing the task that it is supposed to do? No, it is performing much more and much more complex tasks. It is not only managing your customer relationship, it is managing your sales, it is managing your sales leads, it is qualifying your leads, it helps you to rank and score the leads, and tells you which leads are possible to be converted into sale, right? What happened in past with this particular client, how the negotiations happened in the past with this particular client, how much negotiation you need to be ready with when you are dealing with a client. Everything is now recommended by the Salesforce tools, with Salesforce having different clouds to do that. So, as a data analyst, you should not limit yourself learning data analytics tool or visualization tool. You should also explore the tools which are most commonly used in enterprises. SAP. SAP is a largely or widely used enterprise tools which provides functionalities or manages payroll, HR, performance management, right? Billing, customer purchase management, right? So you should also try to go into learning. You should try to learn that these softwares or tools which are being used by enterprises irrespective of domains. Another tool I can think of, and it is getting very popular now, is Zoho. Zoho also offers a multitude of applications which helps the businesses. So my advice to any data analytics or aspiring data analyst would be to not only learn about the core data analytics tools or AI tools, but also expand your horizon and go into the tools which are industry agnostic, which are used across industries, because now they are those tools are having inbuilt capability to use AI and perform data analytics. Salesforce bought Tableau a few years back. So Tableau is part of Salesforce portfolio. So they have integrated Tableau in all their product portfolio. So you cannot just say that I know Tableau, but what is Tableau doing after integration with Salesforce clouds? You also need to learn that. So uh, when you are equipped with this knowledge, you understand the different domains of business, and you also understand the data analytics and AI part of it. That is the kind of combination that is currently missing in the market, and that's the kind of combination of skill sets that organizations are looking for at the moment.
So basically, it's not the focus only on tools, which is going to kind of give you the leverage in the market or as a professional. You should focus on not only understanding what does the business want. Ultimately, it's about business objectives, right? And see which are the best tools which can help in this scenario.
Correct.
Yeah, so as you were describing the previous question, one of the things which came to my mind is that the once the data is kind of identified that okay, which are the sources from where data is going to come in, it has to be put into a data warehouse or a star schema and whatever is the decision. Who actually designs this? Because that is basically the crux of the whole analytics project.
So normally we have data modelers who are specifically doing this task. So data modelers normally create source to target kind of a mapping. So where they try to understand what are different sources, and within sources, because every system in an organization is a source, and they also have their own database. So what are the what are the schema, what are the tables in each schema, what are the key columns, what are is the column definition, right? So that's kind of a metadata that they have to identify from different sources. It is a very, you can say, hectic job, or you can say very tedious job. You have to talk to a lot of people in the organization when you are doing that. In one of my projects, where the client was transforming from legacy data warehouse to AWS or cloud based data warehouse, we faced this challenge where we the legacy data warehouse were a couple of decades ago, and the definitions of the metadata, like column, which columns are being used, which are the columns which are not in use, nobody knew it, because the people who designed it, people who used to work on those systems, have already left the organization. So we found it really challenging to find out this information, but then we found out some old documents where enterprise data architectures were there. So the old data models were there, which helped us identify how their different sources of data are integrated, how the current data warehouse works. So that that part was very difficult for us to finalize, because a lot of times the number of columns you have in a table, i- half of them are either
Not
empty, not
used.
in use. So you are trying to identify the definition of each column, and for there are hundreds of tables. So you need to talk to, for example, if there is a billing system, you sit with a billing guy for 2 3 days, and you go through each table. And if there is no definition available, you access their database, type a query, get first 100 or 500 rows from the table, and see what data is there in each column. So that exercise is done by a data modeler. It is still done manually, because source to target mapping cannot be automated. You need to conduct workshops with the system owners. You need to understand how something is important. Like, for example, billing cycle. Some telecom companies have only two billing cycles, first of the month or 15th of the month. There are telecom companies who have every day as a billing cycle. One customer can be getting a bill on first, another customer on second, another customer on third. So that's how things can get complicated, and you need to be ready for every scenario. You cannot standardize the source to target mapping or designing of our data warehouse. So it depends very much on the client requirements, client's legacy systems, and the client's business. So the data modeler's job becomes crucial here. They have to first define the logical data architecture of the organization. Then from the logical architecture, you have to identify each entity. For example, when I say logical data model, I talk about CRM system, billing system, inventory management system. Then there can be a system to handle customer calls, customer inquiries, customer complaints. Then there would be system for managing issues related to the products or services. If there is any issue like maintaining day-to-day operations. So you need to first create a high 30,000 degree 30,000 feet view of the whole organization, and then pick every system, see how it is integrated, which other systems does it talk to, right? Then you conduct workshop with those owners of those systems, try to understand and go deep into the complexities, and see in target how they want to, what the things to be, because as is not always same as the target state. So you not only have to document the current scenario, the current state of their data warehouse, you also have to document the target state, which can be totally different. What they want, if they are currently having two systems, one for prepaid and one for postpaid, let's say. In target, they just only want one, which is subscription. Now most of the business are moving towards subscription model, like Netflix, right? Amazon Prime. You pay every month for their services, right? So there is not going to be any prepaid or postpaid like that, maybe sometimes in future. So these kind of target state architecture you need to understand. You need to capture the business requirements. It is not 1 or 2 weeks job. It's job of few months, where you have to and depending upon the complexity of the organization, how large it is, how fragmented their current systems are, right? What is the current inventory of their IT architecture? So I have seen organizations having uh, hundreds of systems. Some of them are in a state of end of life, but they are still using it without a license, without any support from the service provider. So uh, these are the complexities that a data modeler has to deal with in defining the current architecture design, and then also define the target architecture design, then map between them, right? And mapping is also extremely complex, right? There would be different stages. right? First, there would be a data lake where the raw transaction documents and transactional data would sit. Then from there, you need to put a trusted layer. From trusted layer, you will start putting data into data warehouse. And then you have to, now there is a concept of data products, right? So to democratize AI or use of data, organizations have started building data products so that person like you and me, who is not a you can say not a database admin, if I want to create a use case on churn management, right? What will I do? I will go to somebody from the database admin and I will check. I need these all tables, and within these tables, I need these columns to create a data analytics use case to for churn analysis of customers. That person will take approvals. I will have to take approvals from a data governance team. Then after approval, that person will take its own time to write a query to provide me the data. Instead of that, organizations are now creating data products, which means that you identify a use case like churn management, like for in banking, it can be related to mm, application review of loan, right? So, what columns from which tables you would need to run this kind of analysis? You already identify the use case, you identify the columns and tables that you need, and then you create a table with that information, with that columns, right? Now you don't have to go to anybody to ask specifically for the data, because organizations are themselves identifying the use cases and creating the data sets which are specific for a particular analytics use case. And anybody who is not into data or who doesn't know how to fetch the data from sources or data warehouse, you don't have to go anywhere. You have that table available. You just need to connect the tool which you are going to use to build your model, and you can consume that data directly. That's why they are called data products. So you can have multiple scenarios. Customer churn is only one of them. Customer complaint can be complaint analysis can be another. There can be a use case related to upsell and cross sell, right? If you have to upsell a customer products, you want to identify what is their buying behavior, what is their history with the organization. For that analysis, what kind of data you need? You need their spending, historical spending. You need their demographic data. You need their location. You need the information on what services they are currently holding. Once you analyze this, you can upsell, okay, them that, okay, you don't have this service, maybe we can upgrade your plan. If you are currently holding a postpaid plan, maybe you can also buy a broadband plan from us. So it's kind of a cross selling. So these are kind of business use cases which the organizations want to easily deploy. And if you want to easily deploy any of the business use case, you need to make sure that the data is easily available for consumption. And for that, you need to curate data products. And again, the role of data modeler becomes crucial, because data modeler knows in and out of which tables contain which type of data, and which columns are present in which schema. And they can help you identify those columns, and the data product can be generated and you can start using it.
So this data modeling task, as you are describing it, is something which obviously AI cannot do because it requires human intelligence to a large extent. So what kind of professionals are these data models? I mean, these are data analysts only who can, with business domain knowledge and skills related to data modeling, they become data modelers. Or what kind of professionals are these, and what are the skills?
So data modeler is totally a separate skill set, not related to data analyst. So it is mm, they work on greenfield projects where they are building the data, right? How the data would get stored in an organization, in an enterprise, right? For example, uh, if what kind of schema, as you said, star schema, that's decided by data modeler. What schema, what tables will contain what column. That kind of you also you are designing the way data is going to be stored in an enterprise. That's the kind of a job the data modeler does. It is totally different. So from a data analyst, data analyst is not concerned about how to design tables, how to design schemas, right? Data analyst is more concerned about what information I need to perform a particular analysis. Data modeler is totally the opposite. That person is not concerned about how this data is going to be consumed, right? By the data analyst. They are more responsible for efficiently designing the data models, which tables would sit where, and which columns would contain what information, and how the joins will occur between tables, right? So creating a so it is about basics of database management. Like you have to define the primary key of every table, what would be the foreign key, what would be the surrogate key, right? If you poorly design a database, right, later on you realize that there is no connection between two tables, how you are going to join them. So a data modeler has to physically and also logically define the data model. For example, again I will give you the example of telecom because I come from telco background. In telecom, we have CRM system managing customer. We have order management system managing customer order. We have activation system activating customer services, right? Then we have billing systems who bills the customer every month. Then we have prepaid system who is for prepaid customers to handle their prepaid balance, right? And then we have finally collection systems, and there are multiple systems are there. So how will you define the integration of each of the system? For example, if I want to understand from the billing data and from the CRM data, what CRM will tell me the history of this customer in terms of what products that person has bought, how long that person or that customer is with the organization. The billing system will tell you the history of the how the customer is using, what has been a monthly or a one monthly bill of the customer. And when you try to stitch both of them to create some kind of analysis, you need to have that integration possible. That is the design that data modeler creates, and you need to have some kind of unique ID to be able to link multiple tables. So that is a very crucial job, which is normally done when the organization is in a greenfield stage. They are starting up, or they are transforming their existing data systems. So they have to completely rework everything, every table during the transformation projects. So yeah, it is a critical job, but very different from data analyst.
So basically, these need to be people who have a lot of database background, not only database background, but also understand how data kind of moves from being at rest to data at motion. All of those concepts they have to
Correct.
learn.
Absolutely.
Okay. So based on your previous answers, there are two aspects. One is where the data engineering part, where AI is doing a lot of work. You mentioned around 80%. And then there is this part, data modeling, which is largely human. Okay. So now the question arises, as a data analyst or somebody who is working in the data field, okay, how do you look at this AI versus me, and how should we keep a balance as to how should be our approach to grow in our career going ahead?
I think that's the most important question you have asked, because there is a debate everywhere. Everybody is saying that AI would replace human, but that's not a case. We should automate what we can, and we should empower human on the rest of it, right? Let me give you an example. We should use AI to do the most tedious or repetitive task. The actual decision making should always be sit with the human, right? So the balance that you are talking about has to be there, and I think that is what is defining the future of every industry at the moment. So we are seeing the job losses, but they are more about people who are either in a stage of career where they may not learn new technologies, or they have been doing some kind of a job which is totally far away from the technology or AI space. For example, let's say HR or payroll, they hardly deal with technology. But now HRs also need to learn AI, how they can use AI and analytics in their day-to-day job. If they are not able to do so, they are going to get replaced, right? So there are roles which require you to learn AI. If you don't learn AI or use of analytics, you are going to get replaced by somebody. AI, you are not going to be replaced by AI. You are going to be replaced by somebody who knows how to automate some of the tasks, focus more on strategic tasks and business value generation tasks, rather than spending time on data preparation, spending 8 9 hours preparing a report. That is now being done by AI. What is your contribution? It's the value that you are going to generate for the organization. That what matter at the moment. So the balance is about identifying the tasks which you can automate, and the degree of dependency should always be defined by the task at stake. So what is at stake? Can you leave the decision of hiring somebody to AI? No, you cannot. We have seen biases by AI. So you would have heard about the news where AI system showed bias against the women candidates, right? There was a news about the image generation of the people when somebody wanted to generate an image. It is what it was more biased towards white people. So these kind of decisions, high stake decisions like hiring somebody, like processing a claim, approving a loan application, you cannot leave it to AI. Yes, low stake and high volume decisions, right? Performing millions of analysis on millions of rows. That kind of task you can ask AI to do, right? But the decision should always be taken by human being.
Correct. So, AI is powerful. A lot of things it can do correctly, as you mentioned. Low stake, low value, but high kind of volume analysis it can do pretty fast. But obviously, AI is not perfect. So, when we're using it, as you mentioned also, you mentioned about bias. So, what are the limitations of AI as of now, as it is seen currently?
So, see, limitations, I won't say limitations of the tool or limitations of AI. It's all about the data you have used to train your tool, right? If you use a biased data, that's what AI will reflect. So, when you are training an AI model, the output, the neutral view of the AI depends upon which data you have used to train it. Now, if you use the data that is publicly available, you will see biases. We all are biased, right? You ask somebody who is going to win a match between, let's say, or a football match between India and Brazil, we will be biased towards India. However, we know that India cannot defeat Brazil, right? So the areas where we have biases, if we train our model using the same information, the model will also. How can you expect? So the model reflects our society. You cannot expect model to behave like a neutral machine, right? Because the data you are supplying is normal and natural data. You ask somebody, let me give you an example of a classic problem. that if somebody asks you if there is a train and the brake of the train has failed, and that after 100 meters, the train has two routes. On one route, there is one person standing. On the second route, there are five people standing. Right? As a driver of the train, what will you do? Naturally, you will move or direct the train towards the track where there is only one person. You would want to save five people and kill one. But the situation changes if somebody tells you, what will you do if you realize that that one person is your son? Right? That kind of a decision you cannot expect from AI. But if you teach AI about these biases, AI will also be biased, right? So these kind of situational questions, if you try to ask AI, even AI won't be able to give the right answer. So AI is as accurate as you train it. Now, when we are training the models, we see that AI still is not able to provide answers to the situation that it has not seen. For example, if you train an AI on pre-2020 data, it won't have any information about COVID, right? So, and if you use that 2020 trained model in 2022, right, it won't be able to give you any answers related to pandemic and how to handle it. So, any unprecedented situation, AI cannot be accurate about anything which it has not seen. So AI can tell you what has happened in the past. AI can analyze what has happened in the past and can tell you about that. But if AI doesn't know any novel situation that has happened, which is new to everybody, AI will fail there, right? So the biases, inaccuracies are completely depend upon how we train it, the data. Ultimately, even if you use AI, you always have to apply your mind to whether to consume this output or not, how to consume it, what needs to be overridden. Right? Recently, there was a meme on LinkedIn where a Pakistani journalist published an article, and at the end, the last paragraph was talking about normally how ChatGPT reacts in your last paragraph. It asks you if you want me to write in this way, I can rewrite this article. So that guy published the whole article without even reading it. Also, there was a news where Deloitte Consulting in Australia was fined about $400 million, right? Just because they used Gen AI in consulting and putting down the report together for their clients. So you cannot blindly put everything that an AI is saying. So you always need to validate, verify, and use AI as an assistant rather than replacing your own mind. So we cannot become dumb, right? There is saying that AI is making the new generation dumb, which is true. And you see the Gen Z who is now using AI in their work, they sometimes just copy and simply paste. Even in their college assignments, there have been cases and reported online available that the college assignments, school assignments are getting, is simply copied and pasted without even reading that there are clear elements that anybody can say that you have just simply pasted it from ChatGPT or any other AI tool. So there has to be a line between the usage and consumption of AI, and you need to apply your mind. So AI can not be 100% dependable.
So to prevent this, so now since we understand that there could be biases based on the data which AI is having access to, can analysts, I'm just talking about general analysts and consultants who are building the system, talking to the stakeholders, can they ask some questions or can they kind of probe the stakeholders to avoid these kind of issues later on? It could be ethics, it could be anything, but can they kind of do something about that so that they avoid these errors in the end?
They should actually, and how they can avoid these is definitely during the workshops. Uh, uh, these kind of situations can be avoided by asking the right questions. And when I say biases, the biases of the stakeholders are fine, but if the for example, if you are working as a business analyst and you are capturing some system requirements, and you see that this person is more biased to a one particular vendor, right? Then it is totally fine. If your vendor wants to buy a system from company A, and they are happy and ready to pay for it, that's totally fine. That's a bias is normal. The bias that needs to be avoided is the bias that is coming from AI, right? You asked AI something, and it is not providing you the result which should be neutral, right? And that comes from the training of that AI, what it was trained on. So the example of rejecting the CVs of people who belong to the who are female, that is a kind of bias that we have seen, because majority of the workforce is male at the moment, and that's why there is a bias that has been that the tool has been trained on. But we need to have some synthetic data to balance the situation. Analyst who is using AI cannot change it, but with some kind of prompting, right? You can use prompt engineering to allow, now we have thinking models, the models which can think. So we can use the latest models and put a conditions that you should think this way, you should not think that way. So even if you are generating some kind of an analysis as a BA, after talking to a stakeholder while you are capturing the business requirements, you can put all the requirements in, let's say, in a GenAI tool approved by your organization, give a prompt which asks the GenAI tool to perform the analysis in a neutral way. If you don't tell this explicitly, the model will use its own mind, its own biases. So you can avoid these situations by a correct and better prompting. Sometimes we have to put guardrails ourselves, that if you are talking about this thing, you should only limit your output only to this topic. You should not talk about anything else. That's how we create AI agents. AI agents are limited to a one specific task that they have to perform. They should not be answering any other thing. For example, there was a meme about Amazon. Amazon has now an AI agent which allows a user or a buyer to perform analysis of all the user reviews of a product. Somebody typed a question, give me a Python code for this particular task. And that the sentiment analysis agent provided the Python code, which is outside the guardrails. It is not meant for providing Python code. It is only meant for the purpose of summarizing the sentiments of the reviewers. So we many times have to define the guardrails when we are asking the questions. So that is one area I feel that people don't spend time learning. They think that they are, if they are able to talk to chat gpt just like a search engine, that's good enough. No, you need to understand how to best utilize a chatbot, right? And for that you need to learn some basics of prompt engineering that will allow you to write the prompts in the correct manner, and also utilize the large language model or the chatbot that you are using most effectively. So for ChatGPT has published some documentation how to use the or utilize ChatGPT 5 in the best manner, because I think they messed up when they launched ChatGPT 5. They could not communicate to the users how different ChatGPT 5 is from ChatGPT 4 or other versions. So the output were coming differently as compared to ChatGPT 4. So they had to release some documents to allow users to go through those documents and learn how ChatGPT 5 should be prompted. And the prompting techniques for ChatGPT 5 are different from the previous versions. So you need to learn how to effectively use different tools, and when to use which tool is also important. If you want to use natural language or sound more like human, you can go to Claude. Claude's output is more sounds like a normal person, right? For coding, Gemini and ChatGPT are excellent, right? So you have to find the use case, and for every use case, you need to find which tool is giving you the best answer. So yeah, I think that these tools help you, but you need to be able to understand when to use each tool, what prompt to write, and how to write a prompt becomes very critical uh, to avoid any biases from your side.
So, you have been giving a lot of suggestions, but just to kind of look at the one piece of advice which you want to give to people who are into analytics field and they want to survive and grow in this field. One piece of advice.
So the piece of advice, it cannot be one. So to be honest, uh, if I want to summarize at a high level, don't stop learning, right? Because if you think that if you learn these five tools, you are on a right path, or you are a data analyst. No, every day something new is happening. You need to be aware of everything. Start with a mix of, if for budding data analyst, you can always start with the mix of SQL, Python. If you are a non-coder, that's totally fine. You don't need to code now. You just need to know or understand how something is happening, how something is working. Leave coding to the LLMs. They provide you the codes. You just need to optimize the codes and validate the output. That's it. So don't be afraid of coding, right? Because you don't need to. So I say that the large language model, this AI, has now democratized data analytics. You don't have to depend upon a data scientist or a data engineer now. You can do every task, you can perform, you can create AI agents in Python without knowing Python now. So don't be afraid. Learn mix of Python, SQL, uh, tools like Copilot. If your organization has Copilot license, learn it. It's excellent tool. Then prompt engineering, as I said, prompt engineering. It should always be in your you can say learning plan. So be open, be aware of what is happening latest in the industry. Most of the online courses are focusing on a few tools. Don't run after tools, because it's not only about tools. Apply business sense. If you know how to use the tool, but you have no understanding of the domain, build some skill in a domain as well, right? For example, if you like banking industry, do banking related demo projects, right? If you are in telecommunications, you do some projects with some dummy telecom data. So build your domain specific skills as well. Mostly people I have seen limit their learning to the tools. Like you learn SQL, you learn Python, then you learn Power BI, Tableau, and that's it. No, these are just the tools. You are contributing no value to an organization if you don't know about the business of it, because now these tools are getting replaced by AI, or most of the functionalities of these tools is now performed by AI. The 20% of the thing, focus on that remaining 20% as well. Build understanding of the domain. What is happening in latest in telecommunication? What is happening latest in insurance, finance, retail, healthcare? So being generic may not help you now. You need to be specialized in a particular domain, and you should be able to talk about business. Anybody who is looking to hire you will not hire you on the basis of your knowledge of Power BI or everything. But are you able to solve any business problem with the help of those tools and AI? That is the core basics now, basic core base of hiring people in the industry now. So not only focus on tools, focus on domain as well. That's my one-liner recommendation.
And if after listening to this podcast, if somebody wants to contact you for guidance, where can they reach you?
So I am available on LinkedIn. I normally don't get time to post, but from now and then I keep posting on LinkedIn. I have few articles posted, how to create an AI agent. I have posted, and also my experience in with Python. I've been a non-coder. I've been a commerce graduate throughout. So after my schooling, I never studied science. So I started moving towards coding because I knew that this is something really fascinating. If see, in IT, anything is possible. You can create any tool, anything. You just need to be clear about what you want from the tool. So that part of of coding is now done by AI. So focus on problem solving. Identify a problem, solve it with some kind of a tool, build that tool with the help of any language, and ask any AI tool to give you the code. So that kind of experience I want to share with everybody, that you don't need to be afraid of coding, and you today you need to be technical. You cannot be a non-technical and survive in the market. So for these kind of discussions and guidance, I am available on LinkedIn.
Great. So it was a fascinating discussion. I think a lot of things which you mentioned are going to be really useful. So thank you so much for your time. And so I hope this was useful to you. Thank you so much for watching this episode. We'll see you in the next. Thank you so much.